Growing for Market podcast.
We really want to change the dynamic of what people think when they hear urban ag and really find it as a credible source of produce and know that we can grow enough to be implemented into large scale food systems as a collective. And we have tons of support here on the city level. We're going to be one of the most sustainable cities here soon. Just hired our director of sustainability and our urban ag director as well. And so we are hoping to push a lot of programming in urban areas here and be an example, a leading example of what the country could do to really fight climate change and implement climate smart practices and also be a good source of education and a wealth of experience for the nation to be able to come and see what we can do in our urban cities.
Hello, and welcome to the Growing for Market podcast, where we talk about growing, marketing, and the business of growing vegetables and flowers for local markets like farmers markets, CSAs, farm stands, and local wholesaling. I'm April Parms Jones, your host and a writer for Growing for Market magazine. For 33 years, the magazine for flower and vegetable market farmers. If you're enjoying the podcast, just wait until you see the magazine. Go to growingformarket.com for more. Also, if you could give us a follow and a rating, it really helps other like-minded people to find the podcast. And now let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. It's with their generous support that we can bring you the podcast for free.
I am so excited to welcome Bootstrap Farmer as a sponsor of the podcast. I've known them for a dozen years, and if anyone tells you nothing is made in the USA anymore, well, they're headquartered and warehoused in Paris, Texas. They make their own all-metal, all-inclusive greenhouse frames of steel made in the USA and fabricated in Texas, and their heavy-duty, reusable propagation and microgreens trays are Midwest-made. With a complete range of supplies, they have just about everything for propagation and growing, including heat mats, ground cover, frost blankets, silage tarps, irrigation, and trellising. Want to color code your seed starting flats? They've got heavy-duty trays that will last for years in a full range of colors, great for keeping farm seedlings separate from retail or just for fun. And they have an experienced team of growers to support everything they sell. If you've heard of the NRCS High Tunnel Initiative providing grants for hoop houses, but have been put off by the paperwork, Bootstrap Farmer has a guide that will walk you through the application process so you can get your hoop house funded this winter. For all that and more, check out Bootstrap Farmer at bootstrapfarmer.com. Whether it's tomatoes to market, flowers in the spring, or vegetables for your family, growing in a greenhouse protected from the weather provides the right environment for a harvest you can count on. Rimmel greenhouses are strong, durable, and easy to assemble, offering the quality that you need to grow productively year-round. Rimmel greenhouses are proudly built right here in America and shipped to anywhere in the U.S. With technical sales staff members located across the country, many with growing experience, the Rimmel Greenhouses team of experts will serve as your trusted partner every step of the way to ensure that you get exceptional value from your greenhouse investment. Visit rimmel.com to get a quote today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm April Parms Jones, and this is Growing for Market podcast. Today, we have the distinct pleasure and honor to have Romondo Woods of the Urban Youth Agriculture Farm in beautiful Detroit, Michigan. So Romondo is an avid farmer, and he's a member of the Michigan Farmers Union. He's a member of Slow Food, and his farm has a really interesting and fun program for children. So they have the early childhood programming, which has over 200 children who are able to get snacks from the farm. And he also has the youth development sector, which is a component of the youth that will come to the farm and help with farm cleanup from this Saturday all the way until November 15th. Thank you so much, Romondo, for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's absolutely my pleasure to be in the space with you, April.
So could you tell us a little bit about your early childhood programming?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I have been operating a early childhood center focused program now for a little bit over 7 years.
Mhm.
And we primarily focus on feeding kids directly from their school garden farms or for school gardens, which we install at each of the 7 facilities we currently have. And we implement those crops from their garden into their snacking program. We also do weekly lessons around maintaining the garden, harvesting, washing, packing, and enjoying the things that we're growing. And also do as much like field fresh harvest to table meals as we can and implement them into the school snack and lunch program.
That is so outstanding. I love the idea of
Absolutely.
students being able to have access to the produce, to be able to see the planting process, and then to be able to harvest it and eat those beautiful, delicious vegetables. That's an outstanding program. And so you're partnering with the local school system in Detroit, and then they are having the garden beds.
Yep. So it's really specific to each facility. But right now we're partnering with a few organizations to bring as many students healthy produce, farm to table snacks and lunches as we can. And then whatever crops that aren't available at the school gardens, we supplement from the urban youth agriculture farm.
That's amazing. Now, are there certain crops that you're saying that the kids are really enjoying, like the planting process or the harvesting or the eating?
I would say the kids enjoy mostly planting and fast forward to harvesting and actually eating what they planted. Mainly berries have been a hit with the young children, and then crops like watermelon, any type of berry, still, spinach, leafy greens, lettuce, arugula, things like that. The teenagers and young adults really love to implement in their farm to table as well experience.
That's really important. I mean, I know personally, I really love berries. And especially as you know, in the Midwest, we have so many different types of berries that you can eat: the blackberries, the raspberry, a gooseberry, a currant. I mean, you could go on and on with the berry power. So that's exciting that the kids actually get a chance to see the plant and then also see what a fruit looks like on a plant, because I feel like that sometimes is a big disconnect. Because I know when I was growing up, you would just see the strawberries in the box, but you never really knew what like the plant looked like. And I don't know if I'd be able to identify a strawberry plant out in the wild or out in a field. And so it's nice for those kids to already have that identification of the plant and then also the fruit.
Absolutely, yeah. I get a lot of joy in not only seeing the kids eat the final product, but then knowing that they have that experience of what a fresh product is supposed to taste like, and then utilizing those fresh products to preserve, to make preservatives or to make meals directly from the farm. I had a parent not too long ago come up and tell me that her daughter won't eat the jam at the house anymore because Mr. Woods has shown her what the real deal is, and that's what she prefers.
I support that little girl. She already knows. She
Yeah,
already
for
knows
sure.
what time it is. I love it. Yeah, and that's so true. The kids are able to apply their berry and plant knowledge by actually, like you're saying, making actual dishes and jams and preserving, which is also such a skill set to learn and to have. And so it's such a dearth of knowledge that you're giving the children and experiences. It's just such a blessing for sure.
Absolutely. And I was just going to say, I had the opportunity to just go to a school here in Turin, Italy, one of their premier school gardens, and I was able to experience their farm to table program here as well, which is very similar to the one I'm doing here in Detroit. So it was actually wonderful to be able to connect with them and actually know that this is a global mission, to get the kids on board.
Absolutely. And that's what I love about Detroit. You guys are so cutting edge. You're a beacon of
We
hope
do.
in the Midwest and in the country. And so, as a Midwesterner, I thank you. It gives us all hope that we too can aspire and do the hard work of inspiring the next generation and educating the next generation. So, you talked about being in Turin and being part of the slow food movement. How impactful was it to see that garden at the school level and to see, like, the work that you're doing is also being done all over the world?
It was so heartfelt to be able to, one, be a part of the 2024 Terra Madre slow food events and programming, but to be able to go to the school and actually see the commitment that these teachers have here in Italy on not only planting and maintaining the growing space, but implementing it in their lunch schedule was absolutely heart-filling. I had the opportunity to tour their school garden and speak with the teachers about the similarities in our programs, and we are so elated to be able to work together and have some big plans for the future. So I'm super excited for that.
That is amazing. International collaboration over food.
Truly,
You can't go wrong. And I love that you're saying that the kids were in Italy, and then the kids here in Detroit, they're both able to have the same sort of experiences of wonder and education, and then also that practicality of the hands-on and getting, like you're saying, that direct connection from the land to their plate and seeing all the different steps. Because I feel as if, like, in our maybe great grandparents' age, people were like right there, able to be connected to the land and to like see a chicken or to see a cow or to see a pig, but also like, a sweet potato, a cowpea, collard greens, like everybody was just right there on the land. And I think as generations have gone on, it's less and less. And so giving the students the opportunity to have that exposure just seems so critical.
truly, it's my life calling here, and I'm on
I
it.
love it. I
I'm
love
all
it.
in as much as I can be, for sure, for sure.
So important. So, as we continue talking about the youth, can you tell us about the youth development sector that you have? Tell us about the program and what the students are able to do.
Yep. So, in addition to the early childhood programming, I also have a young adult programming for youth ages 12 to 22, 24 range. And those students have more of a hands-on, in-depth experience on what it's like to be a urban farmer and also a garden developer. And they also get immersed in a few of the skilled trades that are around agriculture, such as education, policy, infrastructure builds, Harvest Wash Pack, which I was just certified with a partnership through a partnership with the National Farmers Union and Cornell University. I'm now certified as a produce safety teacher.
Hmm.
I'm able to teach growers around the country now FDA regulations. So if they want to get a product in the stores or overseas or farm to school, I'm able to support them in doing that as well. So super excited for the youth development group we got working here on the on the Urban Youth Agriculture Farm. I might say UIA throughout the speech, but it's just the Urban Youth Agriculture Farm. But we got a group that we just got awarded to come be with us through November 15th of this year. And so this group will have the pleasure of supporting me in shutting down the farm which, entails harvesting all of the summer crops and transitioning into the fall and also prepping for the overwinter production as well.
That sounds like a big monumental task for sure. Closing out the farm is
For sure.
always so hard for sure. And like I think anytime you're transitioning like in life in farming, if you're moving, it's a big step. You have to really organize everything out. And so yeah, it's a hard transition every season. So that's awesome that you have extra hands to the plow to get it done.
Man, I can't thank my partners enough for allowing me, well, trusting me, one, with their youth, and then allowing me to pour into them my experiences as an urban farmer and as a grower and as a youth educator, and being able to show them and get them interested in ag-related skilled trades, so to speak.
It's an excellent point that you're bringing up is that you're actually giving these students skill sets in agriculture, which especially as being a person in the city, sometimes it's hard to have accessibility to the land and for students to actually get exposure to those sort of fields and careers. So what kind of stories do you have to tell us about like the experiences of the students and the youth development sector program?
So the youth development sector program has been this year alone with me probably since they ended the school year, which is around June normally. They've been with me on the farm the entirety of the summer and have been featured in a few short documentaries. They've been able to go on a few trips. They've been able to learn many, many trades like how to build raised beds, garden development. They've got introduced to the anatomy of like tillers, and they have also done quite a bit of harvesting and washing and packing, which is all up to FDA regulated standards. And they've also been able to dive into some transplant production, learning some seasonality of when things grow and how to, like I said, harvest them. A lot of these kids don't know like a carrot comes out of the ground. They just think, the food comes from Walmart already prepared and it's done. And so being able to, expose them to the entire process from seed to seed is something that I think that they'll cherish and hopefully find valuable as they move forward as future consumers.
Yeah, absolutely. You're educating the next generation, like you're saying, about food, the food system, plant identification, ways of growing, how to grow. That's all so crucial. And even if these children don't go into necessarily like a direct ag field, they may have a house and they may have a garden they want to do or a city garden that they're going to have a plot of land. They may move out into the rural countryside and have, acres of land and do animals mostly, but still be able to produce some food for themselves. So there's such life skills that you are teaching these students. It just seems like such a joy and such a great legacy for the next generation for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I look forward to it. I definitely am bringing all of myself to the table. I'm all in with the kids. Anything that they're willing to ask, I'm willing to tell as much as I know on said subject. And so, it's just all around gratitude and humble teachings from my experiences on the earth and dealing with the earth as a grower. So I'm super, super excited to be able to bring that to them and then expound on their school gardens as well.
Absolutely. And now let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. It's with their generous support that we can bring you the podcast for free.
I don't know about you, but I got into farming to grow food, not to spend my time creating pack lists, writing newsletters, responding to emails, or maintaining web stores. If I could spend less time on my phone and computer and more time farming, that would be a win. Enter Farmhand. Farmhand is the only all-in-one virtual assistant built by and for CSA farmers. It takes care of the admin, managing orders, customer communications, and automating tedious tasks so you can get back to doing what you love. On average, Farmhand saves CSA farmers 6 hours a week. That's 6 hours you could spend with your family, out in the field, or simply taking a breather. So, what would you do with an extra 6 hours? Now's the time to get your systems ready for next season. Learn how Farmhand can help at farmhand.partners/GFM. That's farmhand.partners/GFM.
And now back to the show. So I was just recently in the beautiful city of Detroit, Michigan, and I had a wonderful time. I went to the Urban Ag Farmer Conference that was sponsored by the USDA, and I got a chance to see you. We chatted, but also I had a chance to experience the wonder, the beauty, the pleasure, the amazingness of the urban ag in Detroit, which in my personal opinion is, cutting edge, maybe the best in the country, and really fun and interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about the urban ag scene in Detroit, Michigan?
Absolutely, yeah. Urban ag is definitely taking off here in the city of Detroit. We've got several farms that are producing on a massive scale in terms of just urban growers, and really trying to show the USDA and the country and the world, quite frankly, that we can produce. And even though we might not have tons and tons of acreage, we can produce enough to feed our communities and be taken serious as growers. And, we really want to change the dynamic of what people think when they hear urban ag and really find it as a credible source of produce and know that we can grow enough to be implemented into large scale food systems as a collective. And we have tons of support here on the city level. We're going to be one of the most sustainable cities here soon. Just hired our director of sustainability and our urban ag director as well. And so we are hoping to push a lot of programming in urban areas here and be an example, a leading example of what the country could do to really fight climate change and implement climate smart practices, and also be a good source of education and a wealth of experience for the nation to be able to come and see what we can do in our urban cities.
Absolutely. That is so, so profound and so true. And you mentioned so many important aspects, which, climate ready farming. And at least stateside, I don't know if you've heard, but we had a hurricane. And it's not funny. It was not funny. It was very serious. A lot of people, lots of destruction. And we all have to be prepared for climate smartness in general, right? In our lives, in farming, in our cities. And so, yeah, absolutely. It's so important to be ahead of the curve with the climate smart farming because it allows you to be resilient and to have access and knowledge and use science for your advantage to be prepared. There's nothing wrong with being prepared. So that's amazing that you guys are doing all that work.
No, truly. Detroit, is in a very, very good position. We've been through our ups and downs, but at this point, we are definitely on the incline. I think we just got voted one of the best cities to live in. We have tons of land still available, and the city's planning to implement that in sustainable practices, which I love to hear, whether it be solar or urban farming or regenerative practices. We got a bunch of pollinator programs here in the city, a bunch of we are a bee city. So we got like tons of keepers here and bee programs for folks that are interested in beekeeping, tons of land access. I mean, we have organizations to support our land access as well. Shout out to the Detroit Black Farmer Land Fund. I was an awardee this year for that as well. And yeah, we are doing everything in our power to make sure that we get as much done as we can and make sure that folks know how to buy the land, have access to the land, have access to being the knowledge or those skill sets and the experienced folks who know how to develop the land in terms of growing. And we're pushing the totem pole here and the pendulum to really swing, and so folks can know that it's not too far-fetched to think an urban city can produce.
Absolutely. Urban cities we've been producing for generations. And
Truly,
Detroit
truly. There's nothing.
is known for producing beautiful, amazing cars and trucks, like the Ford F-150, which is my personal dream. One day. One day I too shall have an F-150. But yeah, so I agree with you that it is important to be able to be in your community and to have access within your community to the resources that you need. And you don't have to go far, far away to find things. I was reading in the New York Times an article about fashion, which who doesn't love fashion? And the people in Detroit are very fashionable. And
Yeah, I'm
they're
here in Italy. I've been getting a lot of looks too, by the folks here in Turin and Milan. Italy is very fashion first, so I've been getting a lot of compliments. So I think we've got a lot going on and a great reputation in many ways. So I'm just happy to be able to, say I'm from the city and be so involved and in the mix of all the things that are happening here. It's truly a blessing.
Absolutely. And fashion is very reflective of the values and the culture and the sense of place. And so is food. And the article was
Absolutely.
talking about how in New York, they are no longer, they're friend-shoring, right? And so instead of manufacturing far, far away, they're manufacturing right at home. The designer's there, the manufacturer is there, and they're creating beautiful, amazing, high-quality products, fashion, that's made in America, and it's selling like wildfire and it's selling in South Korea. And the same with food. People should be able to have access right there in their community and not have to go far, far away and make a friend with a farmer.
Absolutely, yeah. We've done a great job of connecting community with the farmers in their neighborhood and making sure that, the farmers in their neighborhood are supported within their respective communities. And also, we've been doing a great job of implementing community and art growing techniques and making things culturally appropriate for our community members and really, having an open ear on things, on improvements that they think we could make or ways that we could benefit our additional ways we could benefit our communities aside from actually just farming, but actually implementing programs and parties and gatherings and tastings, et cetera, and getting folks really exposed to, what freshness is, because most folks are detached from that.
Absolutely. That we did go to some farmer parties and they had the opening party and they had all this beautiful, delicious food. That was amazing. And for me, it was a great opportunity to have that exposure to culture, Detroit culture in particular, and then also the beautiful, delicious food culture that's in Detroit. And I could see like, oh, there's a direct correlation, like you're saying, to the freshness and the deliciousness. It came together in a beautiful meal.
Absolutely. No, shout out to all the urban farmers in the city of Detroit. Shout out to Oakland Avenue Urban Farm, who had the pleasure of hosting the NUAC conference gathering that you, I think, came to. Shout out to the Detroit People's Food Co-op grocery store that just opened up and is hugely supporting urban growers, allowing us to sell our produce there. And also shout out to the neighborhood grocery store, a Black-owned grocery store that just opened up near the UIA farm as well. And we'll be implementing our crops there as well. And those crops will be sold directly to community members at the store.
Yeah, that's great. There's so many access points in Detroit. I really love the food system.
We're working on it. We still got a long way to go, but we're working on it. We're working
Yeah,
on it heavily.
no, for sure. It's a work in progress. So you mentioned you're a slow food member and you're in Turin, Italy for the Terra Madre conference. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that incorporates in your work in Detroit, Michigan?
Absolutely. So, yes, I am here still in Turin, Italy. This is my last day here. I've been here since Monday and have had the pleasure of, I came a little bit earlier than the conference or the summit, just so I have a few friends here. I was able to spend some time in their spaces and really get a good grasp on what Italy has to offer, what the Turin area and Milan area has to offer. And I am truly astounded and elated to bring what I've learned here back to the country and implement it. But I'll speak on the slow food. It's so the Terra Madre, and it's a platform essentially for international slow food members to be able to come and sell their pro food. Terra Madre actually happens biannual product and their processes to the world, to the entirety of the planet. We have sectors all over the planet, from Italy to Africa to USA to Mexico to London to Australia. I got to work with some folks from Australia today at the school, and it's just incredible. And then, everybody comes together. There's hundreds of workshops for you to go to if you want to learn on particular processes or procedures or policy or culture. You can have the opportunity to do that. And then there's also just great food that folks really put love into. It's available for purchase at the Terra Madre. And yeah, just a great space to be in. And they're also having a Slow Food USA Summit that will be in Sacramento next year as well. But the international Terra Madre usually happens biannually. So definitely can't wait for that. Again, and I'll be in Sacramento for the Slow Food USA as well summit.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. And like you're saying, it's just such a great opportunity for people to come together along our shared love of food and culture and tastiness, and to share tips and ideas and strategies and really talk about the food system and what's going on.
It's been a blast. I was actually selected as a delegate this year for the first time. I was able to represent the Slow Food USA team here in Terra Madre, and like I said, was able to take part in some specialized events like going to the school program and a few other meetings and tastings and dinners that we were invited to as delegates. We really working on expanding that network of slow food participants and members so we can get the knowledge and the know-how of what things are supposed to taste like out here in the country, and really upgrading our food system as it lays right now.
Absolutely. Who doesn't like a good upgrade? Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody wants something a little better.
For sure, for sure. I mean,
100%.
just to share with you, here in Turin, right? The same $5 that you spend on a hot and ready, you can get a handmade brick oven toasted pizza for the same $5 with all fresh ingredients.
Nice.
Tomato sauce hand pressed right in front of you. We really got some improvements to make here on our side, and just like putting some more love into our food and what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely. I think that's an awesome point. Love and food that goes together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You can always taste the love. You feel better. You feel uplifted. You feel like I can make it another day, especially when people are putting love into the food. And that,
Absolutely.
when it's missing, it's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You could definitely feel the love. You could taste the love. And people are happier. People aren't as sick. People aren't as moody. And so it's been quite the experience to be able to. And the food is, like I said, the same price as the stuff that we're getting. It's just on another tier of quality. So definitely can't wait to work with the USDA on improving the things that we can here in our area.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody gets hangry, and it's so awful. Myself included. Hangry. Yes.
For sure.
So it's good. Less hangry, the better. We all need less hangry people in the world.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree too. So we're talking about The Michigan Farmers Union, another amazing advocacy group for farmers.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Michigan Farmers Union is another one of the many networks that I've been having the pleasure to be a part of. I'm actually serving on the board now as of this year for the Michigan Farmers Union. And they definitely have been on the move here in the state, advocating just with the rest of the national team for a better food system, a more intricate farm bill that includes urban agriculture and, rural improvements as well. And definitely have been one of the key elements in putting me in position to talk to the folks that can truly make a difference here in the country in terms of the USDA, Secretary Vilsack, Deputy Secretary Small. I just had a meeting with her, maybe not even a whole month ago just yet, and have been able to really, really hear directly from the USDA and also just converse with them about my experiences as a young farmer, as a new and beginning farmer, and one of the new farmers that have had the opportunity to implement USDA programming in my space. And they've been all open ears around how they can support me and also improve on USDA urban agriculture based programs. And so shout out to the Farmers Union for that. As I mentioned earlier, they also have been investing in young farmers specifically. I was able to be a part of the Emerging Leaders program through the National Farmers Union as well. And then I'm also, like I just told you, like I said earlier, was able to get certified by Cornell University as a produce safety trainer. So now I'm able to train growers on all around the country on produce safety and harvesting, wash and packing techniques, making sure that their water sources are in good standing, making sure that their farms aren't at high risk of contamination so we don't get any more recalls or anything of that sort.
Yeah, that's super important work, especially after the boards had recall. We're all thinking more intimately about food safety and making sure what we're eating is actually going to be nutritious and good for us. So that's impactful work for sure on keeping us all healthy and safe within our food system.
Absolutely. Not to mention, being a part of the network of rural and urban farmers in the National Farmers Union and, connecting me with beautiful folks like you, April, and just really showing the strength and numbers that we have as small to medium scale growers and really fighting for us to still have a piece of the pie, if you will, in terms of USDA programming, funding, and support. And just making sure that we're not left on the back burner and folks know that we're capable and we're a huge part of the system as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an Ohio Farmers Union member and I love it as well. Like you said, it's a great network, amazing people. And what I love is that especially when you're an urban farmer, you're in normally a bigger city, there's more people, and your growing techniques and strategies are different. But when you're in a larger organization like the National Farmers Union, you're able to talk to people in Minnesota, a Dakota, a Nebraska, an Iowa, and beyond. And they have lots more land, and they have tips and tricks that also still work because we're all still working the land. So yeah, it's a great organization for sure.
Absolutely. And they also have problems that we don't foresee as the smaller scale growers, right? Like the right to repair and things like that. So it's really important to be having your ear to the ground and listening to the issues that they're going through because this may be something that you may have concern for in the future. So I just appreciate the opportunity to be in the network, in the loop, and having my ear to the ground in terms of what's out here, what issues they're having, and how they're going about resolving them.
So as we get to our last question, do you have any growing tips for our audience that you'd like to share?
Absolutely, yes. So I'm going to keep it. I like to keep things in seasonality, and we are in the U.S. of good old U.S. of A. going through fall now and approaching winter here very shortly. So I'm going to share some good fall tips, including some crops that you all can still plant. A lot of people think it's too late to grow, and it's not. There are crops that are cold hardy. Some even have a little bit of light frost hardiness. And those crops include cool hardy crops. Are like lettuce, spinach, carrots. You could do carrots are usually around 50 days. And when you're looking for cool weather crops, you want to be able to make sure you got enough time to harvest the crops. So I usually like keep it within a 30 to 50 day window. And spinach is really good for that. Carrots are usually are within a 50 to 60 day window, sometimes 70 depending on the size of the carrots. Beets are good, arugula is good, lettuce salad mixes are good, kale, all your brassicas, usually taste better in the fall. So brassicas are kale, collards, kohlrabi, broccoli, things of that nature. Usually take about 50 to 60 days to grow. So if you plant it now, you may be able to harvest it right before the hard frost or right at the beginning of November or so, and be able to utilize that in your overwintering diet. Also going to share a few pro tips, I like to call it. So for the folks who already have established spaces, you want to make sure if you're in a place that gets a lot of snow, you might want to lay some straw or some type of protection over your soil or over your growing spaces just to make sure that they're protected from the hard frost and that the weeds and the underlying pressures don't have access to all that good moisture from the snow. And that could be straw mulch, it could be wood chips, that could be a tarp, that could be a multitude of things, but just making sure the beds are covered and put the rest. And then for folks that have irrigation, you want to make sure that your irrigation is one, marked and labeled so you know exactly where it goes back to next year. And you also want to make sure you go about cleaning it, which could look like just rinsing or running irrigation through it one last time, making sure there's nothing in there, no contaminants, no mice poop, all that kind of stuff. And then you also want to make sure that you winterize any water sources you have and your irrigation for that matter, just to prevent any cracks or seals. And that usually looks like some type of air pressurized system to blow the water out of the main lines and out the supplying lines as well. So you don't have any debris or any moisture in there that could expand and crack up all of your material, your irrigation material. And I can keep going, but I'm gonna stop. We'll be here all night.
That's that's
Also, a good time to prune. Fall is a great time to prune right now. If you have trees or fruit trees that need to be pruned up, fall is a great time to do that and really get a jump on next year's production now.
Yeah, those are all really great tips. Especially, I love the pruning because I have quite a few berry bushes of my own that I need to check on, and then
Gotta make sure you
some
prune them up.
some trees. I got a pawpaw. Went to the pawpaw festival. Pawpaw is the
Oh,
native.
that sounds lovely.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was in Athens, Ohio, and pawpaw is the native fruit tree of Ohio. So it's really exciting. I'm really getting into native plants this year. And yeah, so that's amazing. Yeah, there's a lot of steps that you have to take when you're transitioning into the fall and transitioning into the winter. Well, Romondo, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wealth of knowledge and talking about the Urban Youth Agriculture Farm, Slow Food, the Michigan Farmers Union, and all the programming that you are doing, inspiring the youth and the people in Detroit. So thank you so much for taking your time today. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Shout out to all the farmers in the city of Detroit doing programming. Shout out to all the orgs that I'm partnering with. Shout out Michigan State University, 4-H. Got a big program and deal coming soon with 4-H. Yeah, huge shout outs to any growers across the country who are fighting the good fight and making sure folks have access to the food as fresh as it can get and exposing folks to what food is really supposed to be like.
Thank you.
No doubt. Thank you, April, for having me. Shout out to you too.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Growing for Market podcast. If you've been enjoying the show, please consider giving us a follow and a rating or review. It really helps others to find the podcast. For more tips and tricks from farmer to farmer, check out our magazine at growingformarket.com. Whether you're a commercial grower or just want to grow like one, subscribe to Growing for Market magazine for the nitty-gritty of growing, marketing, and the business of market farming. We publish 10 issues per year with articles written by experienced farmers on topics ranging from tools and techniques to farm business, operations, and marketing. If you've been listening to the Growing for Market podcast and haven't yet checked out Growing for Market magazine, we've made a change so you can try the magazine for free. We've added a free month to the beginning of all first-time subscriptions. Try out the digital or paper magazine, and if it's not for you, cancel within 28 days, and you'll never get billed. With digital subscriptions starting at just $39 per year. You'll get a year of the magazine plus 150 back issues from the last 15 years. Head over to Growing for Market and subscribe today to benefit from over 3 decades of writing by farmers for farmers and Growing for Market magazine.